Welcome to the Queen's Lair, a lifestyle podcast. Get inspired by our latest tips and information about small business, entrepreneurship, natural hair, travel, food, and even relationships. Stay tuned for another great episode. I am your host, Renee Patrice. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into my podcast once again. I wanted to talk about business and business ethics. And I think I've spoken about this briefly in the past, but it's been quite some time. And I think that every now and then we need to revisit these things because sometimes we lose our footing, we lose our way, and, this type of thing. So I wanted to speak about this because I see it happening so much where we want to get ahead with our brand. We want to, step up our brand into another, circle. We want to put our brand on the forefront. And we do it and we motivate ourselves and push ourselves to get to these new heights. But I always look at how I get there. What is the climb to get there? What are the things that I had to compromise to get there? Did I compromise anything that I normally would not to get my brand where I want it to be? It's a very tough situation when you want your brand to grow and you get desperate and start to do things that you would normally not do. I've seen so many brands befriend other brands so that they can get ahead and they can bowl over and do whatever it is they want to do. They'll do anything to get ahead. Like that song, Anything for Clout. People will do anything to get ahead. And I have seen, let me tell you, in this business, especially in the media world, you will see people befriend other people in the business just because of the credentials of another person. Now, I know you're like, oh, this is nothing new. Everybody does this all the time. But I gotta say, the calculated nature that it takes for you to do something like that is very telling about who you are as a person, who you are, and how you think and how you move. And I will tell you this, I don't care how good something looks. I don't care how much, this person is in here doing this and they make a lot of money doing it. And I'll tell you, I've had this conversation many times. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care how much clout you have. I don't care what you have going on. It does not negate you being a decent person. It does not negate you having to do the so-called right thing. And I will literally sit back and I will watch people bring folks into their life, connect with folks for the fact that they know this person has a connection down the road. And it's like they're waiting to spring into action. I know that they are connected to such and such studio. I know that they're connected to, such and such playwright. I know that they're connected to such and such author. So let me play my cards right real quick. Like when you see that dude on television who, is constantly, rubbing his fingers together like, let me see what I can do real quick. You know what I'm saying? Real slippery. And I run into it so much. Sometimes there are people that have contacted me for something and they want to pick my brain about something or whatever. And I already know there's more to this conversation. But I wait. I don't say anything. Nothing for months. And then boom, the conversation comes up. And now it's like, hey, I saw that you did blah, 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 blah. I saw that blah, 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 And it's like, that's what you were befriending me for. That's what you were, or you could say was using me for. And I see that all the time. And let me just be clear. It's easy to do. It's so easy to see people who are connected to the things that maybe you're interested in, and you decide that you're going to make a connection with that person. You're going to lay the groundwork of friendship with that person. My thing is it because of their connection and you're trying to just get on their good side, and then once you do some sort of, whatever it is, once you work with them, then it's over? You know what I mean? Because you have so many people in this business who like to keep folks in their back pocket. And that's part of the problem why we cannot move and rise up with our brands, with our businesses. It's one of the reasons I believe that a lot of entrepreneurs do not trust each other. Especially when we're talking about the Black community. We don't truly have unity. And we don't truly trust each other. You know what I mean? Because there's always this air of there's some type of, I don't even know what's the best way to say it. There's always this air of they got something I want. It's never just a genuine connection. I can tell you right now, there's about, if I'm being honest, probably about 3 people right now in my network. I'm going to say network. I'm not going to say circle because they're not that close. But I'm going to say in my network that I know are only connected to me because of what they think I can do for them. One has already made it clear, and they might listen to this and I really don't care. If they know who they are, they know who they are. But one has already piped up about what it is they really want. And the other 2 are still circling. They're getting ready for the big ask. Now here's the thing. I don't even have an issue with the big ask. Whatever it is. Because if I don't know somebody who does something, or there's somebody that I know that can help you get to what it is you're trying to do, or I can make a connection or introduction, I don't even have any issue with that. The issue that I have is that people who do it on an opportunistic basis, people who don't want to do the work, people who want to be lazy. That is the thing. I cannot stand when people ask for a connection for something, or how did you do this, or how did you that, and they ask all these questions, but they are not hustlers. They don't go in and out of their way to make sure, like, if I see somebody is just grinding, they're trying to get stuff done, but they keep hitting these brick walls for whatever reason, I'll have a conversation with them and be like, well, what are you trying to do? What are you, what's your goal? And then when they tell me, I said, oh, okay, well, here's what you can do. And I'll give them a little advice of something that they can do. And they're like, oh my goodness, I didn't even realize that. And 9 times out of 10, the quote unquote big ask that they were going to do, they don't even need it. Because now they have a little bit more insight of how they can move in their market, genre, whatever you want to call it. I remember this one time, it was a meeting with, I'm not a name dropper like that, but this was a meeting with Damon John. Okay, everybody knows Damon John, the People's Shark. You guys know I've been an ambassador for him in the past for a couple of his publications. And he said in a meeting, the question was asked, how do you work with celebrities? How do you get, he said, listen, don't worry about that. That will come down the road. He's like, if you are so fixated on working with celebrities, you're never going to get anywhere. You'll have some success here and there, but you will never really get ahead. Don't worry about that. Work with your local people. You know what I mean? So you want to work with the, big names, NBA players and, all this sort of stuff. The average NBA player or even the non-average NBA player is not going to endorse your new socks. They're just not. There's so many other deals on the table. Now, is it nice of them if they do? Absolutely. It's not impossible. But you're making more work for yourself. When you do that, start local. Celebrate your local celebrities. Who are some of the local celebrities in your town who are known? Who are some of the local news people that you can invite to your event? That you can actually pay them to speak at your event? Because guess what? If you put a local radio personality, or a local anchor, and you say, you know what? Get some pricing for them, pay them to, MC your event, host your event. I will tell you, they will post about that event. It will bring more eyes onto that particular event that you are doing. Let's say you're a nonprofit or you're trying to bring awareness to something, whatever. Do your homework. If you know there's a local anchor who's dealing with a particular, let's say a local anchor is dealing with fibroids and you want to and you have a fibroid organization. And I'm just saying that because that's, something that's near and dear to me. If you have an organization where you're doing fibroid awareness and you know that there is an anchor in your town who has spoken openly about her struggles with fibroids, find a way to get in touch with them. It can be an email address, whatever it is, and say, hey, I would love, if you are interested, I would love for you to MC my event. Can you please let me know what your pricing would be for that? Or who do I contact? Sometimes these folks have their own, web addresses that you can go to, and they may have a rep or they may have a contact form that you can send a message to. Sometimes you can send a message to their email, whatever the case may be. And sometimes I have found, this has been my experience with doing events, especially when it's talking about bringing awareness to something. I've had a lot of folks that I've asked them for their pricing. They said, listen, I love what you're doing. You don't have to pay me. Just do like per diem, pay for my hotel, pay for my, plane ticket if they are coming from out of town, or if they're in town, I just pay for their day, their ticket. They don't have to pay for any food. If they want an overnight hotel, whatever the case may be, just to be out for the night, they could definitely. I've had that happen several times because they were such in support of whatever the issue that I was bringing awareness to. And I've done so many events with women's empowerment and, business and all of that. So that's happened many times. And then the other times it was like, what's their rate sheet? They'll send over their rate sheet. Sometimes they have a rep. Sometimes they have a rep and they still talk to me directly. I've never really run into too many people where they've been like, talk to my rep. I would say 80% of the time I talk directly to the person, the personality, the potential host or whatever, and their rep kind of takes care of the details in the background. You never know what you will run into, but you have to do the work. Stop clout connecting. Is that a thing? Did I just make that up? Clout connecting? Is that a thing? I don't know. Maybe that's what I'll name this episode, Clout Connecting. Does that make sense? Nothing wrong with wanting to get to know people. Nothing wrong with networking. Nothing wrong with making connections. But when your sole reasoning is to make connections, to use what that person has, without truly making a connection, like a lifelong connection with the individual, I should be able to come from a situation and talk to you about anything business, this, that, or the other. Oh, how you doing? Whatever. And it doesn't seem like I just talked to you because I was trying to get that thing out of you. And I will tell you, some of y'all lay in wait for a long time before y'all spring into action. That's the thing that's scary, because you could be friends with somebody and you think, oh my goodness, and you may be a well-connected person and somebody befriends you. They've been friends with you for like 4 or 5 years, never asked anything of you in life. And then comes the ask. And then it's weird after that. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, wow, this is what that was the whole time. So be careful when you are befriending people in business. Be very careful. Be careful of the connections that you make that may not seem genuine. Because a lot of people like to be, what's the word? What is it? It's like something adjacent. They like to be success adjacent. I'm coming up with some phrases today. People love to see success and connect themselves to successful people, and it's not a genuine connection. I'm all for celebrating people's success. I love it. I think it's amazing when you've accomplished something that you've always wanted to accomplish, but you need to do the work. The constant piggybacking off of other people's success or other people's connections is a game killer. It really is, because it never shows you in your best light. You know what I mean? It never shows what you are able to do. And sometimes leads to bad blood down the road. You know, I've seen that happen so many times at large levels within media and TV. So many times. It happens with groups. This is why you see all these boy bands and all these girl groups or whatever breaking up, because somebody in the group decided that they were going to go solo. They decided to reach out and make their own deal outside of the group, and it makes the group feel salty. And I'm not saying that people cannot go solo and people cannot, I need to reach beyond. No problem at all. But it's the manner in which you do it. And if you do it in a manner that is suspect, it's only going to have blowback on you. You'll have some successes, you'll have some, great things happen, and then it'll be like nothing again. And you'll wonder why you stay stagnant. You'll wonder why you don't really move forward. You have a win, and then it's like it goes away. It's never going to be enough, because you get that win, and then nothing else happens for like months, because you really didn't want to do the work. And really, it comes down to, and part of this, I think, really comes down to ego. You want something to stroke your ego right now, and then everything falls flat again. Because when you get an opportunity to get your foot in the door for something, and you do not take that opportunity to expand while you are there, you're wasting your time. You're truly wasting your time. If somebody has had the great fortune of giving you a connection for something, you need to take that connection and be like, how can I genuinely use this to grow? And to be honest, some people don't really want to grow. They just want to loop here, win here, loop there, win there, and then they just have all of these times where they fall flat in between. But they complain when they see other people doing the things that they want to do. But do you know how much work these other people have done? Do you know how much reading they had to do? How much learning they had to do? How much creative filming they had to do just to get that one 5-piece, not a 5-piece, a 5-minute video. A 5-minute video on social media, trust me, took hours to create. But you just want to come in and be like, okay, plop down in the seat and be like, okay, give me my light. No, you got to work. And nothing should be handed to you. And let's say you have the good fortune of something being handed to you. Again, make genuine connections so you don't look like that clout connector. I'm going to make that a thing, clout connector. Stop doing that. It's very disheartening to connect with people. And here's another thing too. When you do connect with folks, you got to be able to, it needs to be some kind of reciprocity. If they are able to help you because of their numbers or whatever the case may be, what are you able to do for them? Where is the reciprocity? I always see this, with YouTubers who talk about this. When YouTubers do collaborations and things, sometimes you'll see a YouTuber that has millions of followers doing a collaboration with a much smaller YouTuber. Let's say a YouTuber with 50,000 followers, and the other one has 2.3 million followers. Now, I love the fact that there's some, large platform YouTubers that they'll work with anybody. They don't care if you have 10,000 followers, whatever. They don't care. But I understand when they say they want something that would be mutually beneficial, because in that case, the 50,000 follower person and the 2-point-something million follower person, it's not balanced, because the 50,000 follower YouTuber has much more to gain from the situation. Now, if that larger YouTuber says, oh, I just want to help you out, that's a different story. But it should be mutually beneficial. So if you have 1 million followers, I have 1 million followers, and it makes sense for our branding, cool. Because not every YouTube collaboration makes sense. Not every collaboration makes sense. Even sometimes in the same genre, they may be just a different, taste than you have, and different aesthetic or whatever the case may be. Not that it can't work, but you have to watch out for that too. Because some people just think, oh, we're in the same industry, it's all the same. But no, there's little nuances within your own industry as well. But again, if you're a clout connector and you don't care and you just want to get on the map, you'll do anything. And then comes the cleanup later, because it's like, ugh, now you're connected to this person. Sometimes people don't even know a person that well, and they connect with that person and find out that, that person may be, a person that celebrates drugs or celebrates drinking or whatever the case may be. If that works for them, that works for them. But if that's not what your brand is about, now you have connected your brand with that person or that other brand. And now it looks crazy. So be mindful when you're making your connections with people. Business is about strategy, absolutely. But make real connections, because you never know when those folks you'll be in a bind and they will come through just because you're friends. Just because you showed them goodness. They'll show you goodness. Don't let it just be based on the business. That's some of the worst connections to have, that it's just based on business, because when it's just based on business and nothing else, there's nothing to stop them. There's nothing to stop you from just completely stabbing your brand in the back. Base it on more than that. How can you truly help each other? Because if you're only going after people who can help you with a specific thing or vice versa, then that means that that person is completely indispensable. That means that when I'm done with you, when I'm done draining whatever it is that I want to get out of you, when I'm done doing that, then they're out the door. And that leads to bad blood. It leads to bad contracts. It leads to salty situations. And that's what you don't want. But you're so busy climbing to get to where you need to go, you don't realize the neck that you're stepping on could be the person that flips you over on your back. So just be mindful of that. Business ethics is a thing. And honestly, we need to bring it back to how it used to be. That's all I got to say. This was a long one today, but I haven't talked about this in a long time. So I hope it reaches, the people that want to understand more about business ethics. But Google it. Look up and see what industry standards are for things and how you ask for things and the way you go about stuff. You will know when to follow the rules and when to break the rules. Because there's always a time to break the rules. Always. But be aware of how you do business, because down the road, you never know what people are saying behind the scenes. Oh, they only come over here for this, or they only come over here for that. You don't want to be that brand. Stand on your own 2 feet and build your own business and your own foundation so that nobody could ever say they made you. Nobody can ever say that, oh, remember when I, Nah. Stand on your own. It's nice to have help, but be able to stand on your own. All right, you guys, connect with me over at Honest Queen Media on Instagram, and I will talk to you guys in a couple of days. Bye. Online savings simplified. Don't search for coupon codes ever again. With one click, Honey's smart shopping assistant will automatically apply discounts to your cart in seconds. Save on all your favorite things. Easily pay less for products you're already buying online. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Join Honey for free. It takes 2 clicks to add Honey to your Chrome, Safari, Firefox, or Opera browser. Find savings in seconds. While you shop, Honey will find working promo codes across the entire internet, and you save instantly. With 1 click, Honey will apply the best deals to your cart. It's that easy. So what are you waiting for? Get Honey. Download it today. Visit our link, www.tinyurl.com/ONYXHONEY. That's www.tinyurl.com/Onyx Honey. Start saving right now.